I would like now to call on Mark Dixon. Mark's going to give us a presentation on membership. We did a survey, as you may remember, a few months back, and he's going to give us a highlight of that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about member engagement and how we can make sure we're keeping all of the Rotarians and Rotaractors engaged. So Mark, over to you.
Greetings and salutations. Membership and more. It kind of sounds like an outlet store, kind of because it is. There's so much in the area of membership and beam me up, Scotty. So much in the area of membership that I'm never going to be able to cover it. So I'm going to hit on the main areas, give you some pointers, give you some suggestions. Lots of experts in this audience, so I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just a focal point. At least that's what my family tells me. Welcome aboard the membership. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I saved all of my dad jokes for this presentation, so glad you had a chance to get one of those sticky buns and get your sugar levels up. HMS stands for what? Wrong. It's Healthy Membership Strategy. Thank you. Yes, of course. So on our membership cruise, we're going to visit 4 ports of call. Assess, attract, which is a lovely spot in the Greek islands, I believe. Welcome, and engage. So assess. There's a number of ways you can do this, formally, informally. This is a lovely segue into the membership survey, is it not? I would say so. So some of you participated in this, some of you didn't. I'm not going to point you out. You know who you are. We had 451 responses, which is a 22% response rate. With any survey, as you may or may not know, you need to get a good enough representation so you can make some general assumptions about the larger population. As you're doing surveys, it's not hard and fast, but it gives you some parameters, and you always want to be asking questions. Like, is this telling me something else? Like the 451 people who responded, why did they respond? Did they feel like they were engaged Rotarians? Did they feel like this was an opportunity for them to whine and complain? It could be a combination, but keep that in the back of your brain so that as we're going forward, you can have a look at this. And I'll just hit some of the highlights. I won't go through 62 pages unless you really want me to. We could, this is a 2-day conference, isn't it? So, I feel that Rotary allows me to make a difference in my community. Strongly agree, somewhat agree, and then there's a few stragglers. So if in your club you end up doing this question and there's a spike down there, you go, where's that coming from? Like, are we making a difference? Are we communicating that difference? Are we connecting with our members? I receive good value for the amount of money I spend in Rotary. This is $40 plus your membership, plus all of the things that you buy at galas, plus the donations here and there. See, you can see somewhat disagree and disagree. There's an opportunity for us to connect with some of those members, if we know who they are, and say, so what's going on here? How do we support you? How do we communicate the value that you're getting? What is the impact that we're creating? I feel my club does a good job of keeping me informed of what's going on in Rotary beyond the club level. It's starting to come down a little, so there might be more of an opportunity to share what's happening in the district, what's happening internationally. My club is welcoming to all non-members, guests, family members, visiting Rotarians. Pretty strong, so that's certainly encouraging. My club actively seeks to involve each member in projects and activities according to member skills, interests, and availability. Yeah, see, there's somewhat disagree happening there. So Again, board members take that opportunity to connect with individual members of your club and say, hey, would you be interested in this committee? Or where are your interests? How can we support those? The committee I'm on this year is working well and is productive. Well, there's some that are going for the coffee or the whatever beverage, but might be some opportunities there. From the list below, please choose the top 3 challenges facing your club. Attendance, lack of club-wide engagement, costs, other. So you look at this list. New members, membership growth, increase of membership, new members, membership drive, drop in membership, increasing membership interest, new younger members. Do you think there's maybe a challenge with membership? I'm not sure. What are the top 5 things you feel your club should focus on in the next 2 years? Here are some suggestions only. Other items may be added to the text box below. Membership, new member engagement. Membership. It's membership. I have received recognition for my contributions to the club in the past 6 months. Ooh, 30% said no. And that could be anything. That could be, hey, thank you for serving on that committee. Or we appreciate you dialing in online and participating in this meeting. Little things. I have learned something new and significant at our club in the last 3 months. Disagree. Oh dear, somewhat disagree. Neither agree or disagree. Now, there's lots of learning opportunities, but are they relevant learning opportunities? Have you asked your members what things they want to learn? Might drive some of the guest speakers that you bring in, opportunity to bring them in online. Lots of questions. Overall, how satisfied are you with your membership in your Rotary Club? Pretty good. There's a couple of very dissatisfied. So this might have been an opportunity for them to say, nobody's listening to me, so I'm going to vent to the district. So are we keeping in touch with our membership? Are we hearing what's going on? Are we talking to our members? Do you have a membership director? I was stunned, shocked and stunned at the beginning of the year when I looked down the list to see who the membership directors were. It's like 40% didn't have a membership director. Do you have a membership director? If you don't, whose responsibility is it? Oh, that's the president's responsibility. We give that to them. Yeah, like they've got nothing else to do. Get a membership director. They can focus on these things. You can send them to me. We'll do the kumbaya thing and they'll be all cranked about membership, new members, engaging members. Club data sheets. How many of you know that these things actually exist? A smattering. They are, if you like data, oh, give me more. I receive these for every club in the district. So if you're interested in receiving these, I'm happy to send it to you. This one, just to air some dirty laundry, this is the data sheet for my club, Rotary Club of St. Albert. So all kinds of information here, a nice chart that shows membership trends over the years. But if you kind of zoom in, and Brent talked to this, annual attrition rate. This is how quickly you're losing members. An annual attraction rate, how quickly you're gaining members. If your attrition rate is higher than your attraction rate, not good. I'm just saying. So you can use this and go, how do we make sure that one of these things is higher than the other? And just talk. You'd be amazed if you sit down and break out of those little cliques that you get into in your meals, sit at a different table, talk to members. How are things going? Are you enjoying your time here? Are you having a good time? What have you learned? What would you like to learn? How's your beef? Really, like just talk. Attraction. This is our second port of call. So we've got all kinds of promotional tools to attract folks: websites, social media, signage, events, advertising, media relations, emails, meetings, one-on-one engagement. That picture is a lawn sign that my club created that we put on the lawns of our members. So you drive by and you go, oh, that's where the freak lives. He's a Rotarian. Yeah. But, you know, all kinds of tools for us to leverage. Don't stress yourself out about trying to do too much. Social media, for example, lots of folks feel, okay, we got to be on Facebook. We've got to be on Twitter too. Instagram. Let's do a couple of TikToks. And, oh yeah, we could better have a presence on LinkedIn. You're going to do all of them badly. Pick one that you think resonates with your target audience. And ideally that's potential new members, and do it really, really well and consistently, and quality posts. And you could even link in a blog. You could even, you know, borrow content from other clubs, from district, from Rotary International. Figure out who your audience is. Who are you talking to? Who do you want to attract to your club? What do they care about? What is their perception of Rotary, of your club? For us, I was kind of suspicious that maybe folks thought we were pale, male, and stale. So how do you change that perception? Well, this is something that we did during my year. Thank you very much. And this was profiling our current members, and we were very selective about who we profiled because we wanted to not only share their story, but show the community that we were in that these are representatives of our Rotary Club. And chances are somebody who's interested in Rotary would look at that and go, hey, you know, I know that person, or I could see myself being in Rotary with them, you know.
Mark, where did you put that?
We did, great question. And thanks, you know, ask questions whenever you like. We did newspaper ads, but we also posted them on social media. We shared those around. And I'm pretty sure that individuals who were featured in those created posters, handed them out to their families. Hey. So the welcome stage, who is this for?
New member.
New members. $40 to the men. So new member onboarding. What does it look like? Is it like you do the induction and then, okay, grab a seat. So what's next? No, if this is a key stage, proper on induction, make sure you've got all the paperwork there, give them a pin, give them a name badge, all there, make sure that they're mentored by their sponsor, ask them to join a committee, get them engaged right away, get them to do a presentation about what they do in their career to the club, because then the club will get to know them. And then you're showing, like, if we're asking you to tell your story, then we care, or at least we want you to think that we care. And sit with them at a meeting. So, you know, break out of those cliques and go and sit with the new member. How many of you have done that, gone out of your way to go, hey, this is your second meeting, isn't it? Well, thanks for coming back. Like, how are things going? Like, what can we do to support you? Yeah. So engagement, this is for all members. And the challenge right now is engaging with folks in the room and online. So online folks, thank you very much for joining us. We see you. So I'm going to do kind of a segue into how do you run a successful hybrid meeting? And these are just some suggestions that you could take away. Yes? Absolutely. Yes.
So are we thinking about ditching Twitter our choices? Are we thinking about joining Mastodon? And, you know, like what are our thoughts as Rotarians about what's going on? And by what's going on there, I mean specifically the shutting down of the accessibility, the absolute, I would call it abuse of labor, the expertise, so letting the amnesty or voices of pain and misinformation that has been announced.
I would say it's a great question, and you're absolutely right. With everything that we do, you need to say, does it meet the four-way test? And the four-way test for us is more of a mirror than a hammer. So you want to say, am I meeting those guidelines? And I don't know if the district would be making a decision on that. It's up to the clubs. I'm seeing no, it's absolutely up to the clubs. And so the clubs need to make that decision. Part of that decision is, are individuals that you want to attract to your club on that platform? And could you be a shining light in the middle of the darkness to be sharing positive messaging and encouraging positive messaging from others who are doing similar posts? So, you know, it could be seen as social missionary work.
Good answer. I really like that.
Oh, thank you. It's all good. We're all buddies here. We're doing good. It's fine.
Folks, can I just point out, so because of the people online, we've got a microphone. If you have a question, come up so that the folks online can hear it as well. And Mark's happy to take questions. I just told him he was. So if you do have
So that
questions,
means
just
yes.
come up and use the mic so the folks online can hear you as well.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Let me go through this, and that was a great example of running a hybrid meeting, because we need to learn how to Zoom and Room without going boom. Boom. So what does this look like? Well, according to Rotary International, a successful meeting, Rotary clubs hold regular meetings, they socialize, they discuss current projects, Rotary matters, professional topics. Most clubs meet in person. Some clubs are meeting in person and online. Rotary is both apolitical and non-religious. We want to create an inclusive environment at our meetings. Meetings can be formal, informal, can include food and drink. But the key point is, the more you participate in your club's meetings and activities, the better overall experience you will have. So let's look at our meetings through that lens. How do we make sure that our members, the guests at the meeting, are participating, that they get the most out of it possible? So how do we create meetings with this in mind? That's a great question. So think about your audience. Think about what you want them to get out of it, and how you can make it as easy as possible to participate. And I'm particularly talking to the folks online, because it's so easy for us to ignore them, because it's just a little mechanical advice at the back of the room. And everybody has their backs towards the camera looking this way. So how do we make sure that we structure the meeting in a way that is engaging, that we use the technology? There's some pointers that I want to cover, some meeting prep, and some tips and tricks. So 4 different meeting scenarios, as we suggested: all in person, all online, an online meeting with some participants meeting in a group. And this was something that we tried during the pandemic. Was we had a Zoom meeting, and then we had a small group of folks that wanted to meet in a restaurant, distanced, with you know, the gowns and the suits and all of that. And still, you know, they needed to be in person, and we were absolutely fine with that. But we ended up having one camera representing that group. So part of a challenge. And what we're seeing now is in-person meetings with some participants online. So the top choice was in-person meetings with individuals zooming in. Now, it's considered a hybrid. This is not the hybrid that we're talking about, just so that you know, just to be clear. So the benefits of a hybrid meeting. You can have members from other parts of the country. Example, Rotary E-Club of Canada. International speakers, members can join from home while taking care of their kids, or if they're not feeling well, they can zoom in. People who are still concerned about COVID, influenza, RSV, they can still participate. And you can start building in creative things like virtual sergeant at arms activities, e-transfers of money, happy bucks, foundation contributions. So structuring the room. If you think about starting with having a laptop on the podium, like right here, all of a sudden the speaker is not only in this room, but also in this room. So I would be looking at this camera, would be looking at you, would be engaging online, and the folks online would see me as a participant in that meeting. So it starts to break down some of those real, no, that's not the term, real and surreal, no, in-person and virtual scenarios. You can run the meeting yourself from here, or if you're not comfortable with that, you can have somebody else at the front of the room with a laptop running the show. Some clubs have gone all out and done some other things, and we'll kind of talk about that. But you need to treat the main laptop as a person. Like if you're walking past, there are other people on the other end. People that are online are on that camera. And as you're walking by, hi, thanks for participating. Good to see you. You know, it seemed a little strange at first. You know, I go walk down the street and greet street signs and people think I'm strange. But you know, if you just get into that habit of acknowledging inanimate objects, like the camera, there's people at the other end of that lens. So it's basically a group of people watching. Don't stand in front of the camera. Think about that. You know, you see it so often. If you're zooming in, there's people in the room. There's some person will end up standing in front of the camera and you see the back of somebody's head. You go, can you, whoever's running the camp, can you tell them to just move? It's, and acknowledge as you go by, like just say hi. There's people there. So you could also have somebody in the room who is designated to be the representative for the folks online. So they ask the speaker to repeat questions, or maybe they redirect people who are asking questions to use the microphone that's available in the room to ask the questions so that the folks online can hear what's going on, rather than any questions. Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, great discussion. Great discussion. So designate somebody to be their representative in the room and engage on both sides. It's easy for folks on Zoom, and we've all been there, to show up, your camera's on, you're not quite into it, so you turn your camera off, you wander off, you come back, what's going on? So, you know, it needs to be a two-way street. So you could have fines for people ignoring online. You could have, you know, Bob, I saw that you had your camera off. We're gonna, you know, you're gonna be fined for that. Yeah. What was that noise? Zoom setup in the room. So engagement and participation is key. Leverage the breakout rooms, get people engaged online right away, get them together, get them to have conversations as things are getting organized in the in-person space. Have people physically in the room log on to Zoom as well. So if you have somebody at the back of the room, they could have their laptop, they could be logging into Zoom as well. And that includes yet another perspective on the show. So screen share, Make sure you practice that in advance. Make sure that it's not as easy for folks on Zoom to be disengaged. Make sure that you're clear about how the program's going and everything's humming along. It's less easy in person to become disengaged. It's easier online, as you all know. Now, some suggestions for the room setup. We talked a little bit about this, but if you look at kind of a typical room, the main screen at front, there's tables, chairs, podium. So, you start with laptop on the podium so that the speaker is engaged in both worlds. You could have a second laptop up front for the person who's actually running the meeting. You could go crazy and put a camera on top of the screen so that you don't have either a laptop that you need to direct at the crowd or plug in a camera to a laptop. If you have it up on the screen, then the folks online can see who's in the room. They've got one screen that's just representative of, here's the view of the room. So you could have somebody in the back. So if you don't happen to have a microphone in the audience, if you have somebody who's participating online on a laptop towards the back of the room and they are participating, they've got their microphone on, they can hear the people that are back there talking. They can hear the questions. So it's better if the speaker just repeats the question, but anything that we can do to increase that engagement and make them feel that they are, we really want them to be part of the meeting. We want them to contribute and we want them to be engaged. So you could have a camera like that at the back of the room as well. So any opportunity you have to give the people online more eyes into the space so that they can see what's going on. See, look at, right? See, imagine that in a meeting, you're zoomed in and you can see who's in the room. It's like you're sitting at the back of the room. We're just reducing those barriers. Technology setup, it's probably not best to do this on the cheap. I would say invest in this, partner with a technology supply company, maybe your local Staples or somebody like that. That's a running joke for us because Doug is past manager of Staples store in St. Albert, and he gets fined every time. Every time he brings it up. Assess your own skill and your comfort zone. If you are not comfortable running Zoom, don't put yourself in a position where you're trying to stumble through it. Designate somebody else. Means they'll be there at every meeting. It's a great bonus. But there are folks who are interested in that kind of thing. Will run the show for you. Could even, I don't mean to stereotype, but I think Rotaractors are probably more technologically savvy than some of the Rotarians. Say that? So invite a Rotaractor to your meeting. Sit at the side of the front or in the audience. Make sure you do the screen share, allow the speakers time to figure that out in advance. Make sure that it's set up in advance. And back to the basics. Make sure that you don't have too much on your slide. You're going to lose people. You put up a slide with paragraphs of text on it, you're just going to lose them. It's not engaging and it's not conducive to learning. So make sure that your PowerPoint slides, your videos, your live presentations, everything is clean, and try to make it as seamless as possible. Where possible, link secondary presentations to your main presentation, so you're not shutting this one down and where did you put that? It was here. I'm sure of it. Hang on, I'll be right with you. Avoid any of that, because all of a sudden you've lost your crowd. So avoid stopping and starting. Meeting prep. Test out the audio and the camera in advance. Do a dry run before the meeting. Don't use the meeting as a dry run. It happens all the time. Where you go, is this working? Is this on? Can you hear me? Can you like take a few moments to just go through it night before. If it's using the same space, Test out the slides, test out everything. Make sure you have a stable connection. You don't want this. And you continue the meeting. You know, it's disconcerting for the people online. And have backup copies of your presentation and materials in case your speaker, your presenter loses connection, and maybe even have a backup presenter. Like if you have somebody, a new Rotarian, who you say, hey, you know, if this goes off the rails, you're on. You're going to be talking about your world. So just be ready. Might not be this meeting. It might not be next meeting, but there will be a meeting. And make sure that you connect with all of your meeting participants in advance. Don't assume that okay, we have an inspirational moment by Bob. Bob? I don't see Bob. Anybody have an inspirational moment that they can share, please? Anybody? Try to avoid that as much as possible and assume nothing. Meal at the meeting. Have one if you want. If it is, think about how it impacts the folks online. If you start your meeting, you do O Canada, you do the introduction of guests, and then you go straight into the meal, the folks online are going, oh, great. I had toast this morning and they're having, doggone it. Think about restructuring your meeting. Think about planning it for both the in-person and the online group. So have the online group do breakout rooms, have conversations, maybe have a special guest in the breakout room. They can have that, have your meal first, and then start the meeting. So everybody's starting the meeting all at the same time. And maybe a special guest in the breakout room. You know, you don't want to discourage people in the room from going online, but you could have, you know, if you have a speaker who's zooming in, they could be in the breakout room and having an advanced conversation just to engage those people online. Fellowship for everyone. I have the t-shirt. It's lovely. That's what we want. Be prepared to change up things if necessary. If people need to wait, just have something ready to go. Like, just in case, you never know. And record your meetings. The more we can share content, the better. Like, you don't have to do the entire meeting. You could clip out the presentation section, post it online, have your own YouTube channel, share it around. It's amazing how that could be the first step to attracting new members. They see the content and then they go, oh, well, maybe I'll go check out a meeting. And they come to a meeting and then we've got them. Pull out a portion of the video, post it on social media. Wait, but there's more. There are satellite clubs. We talked a bit about that. There are partnerships. There's the whole world of Rotaract that I didn't intentionally ignore, but I kind of sort of, because it's so amazing and I wanted to make sure that we addressed it as appropriately as possible. But engaging with Rotaract clubs at a Rotary meeting, joining their meetings wherever possible. And if there's anything else, that's what the district is all about. You go, I wonder if there's more membership tactics that we could leverage for our club. Maybe I'll call Mark at the district. That's always an option. And learn and evolve as you go. Like, don't stress yourself out about doing too much, as long as you kind of have a plan and you're progressing to the next thing. And how can we do the next thing? Doug was talking about, at our table, was talking about, you know, not focusing just on this year and then hard stop, and then next year and hard stop. And how do we progress year over year over year as a club and continue to grow? And check us out on the district website. So shout out to Deneen for making a bunch of changes. And you look here, it's right there on the clubs and members, drop down, membership resources, lots of cool stuff here. And coincidentally, it will follow the structure of this presentation. Imagine that. So just to refresh your memory, ports of call, we assessed, we attracted, we welcomed, and we engaged. Thank you for joining us on the membership HMS Rotary. That's cool. How did he do that? So, questions?
By all means, please, we have time. We have a microphone here so that the folks online can hear the questions. So please come up and ask.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll just make something up.
Actually, a question, but
Oh,
it's
excellent.
just, I want to share how we attract members. Like this year alone, I was able to recruit 8 new members,
Good for you. Nicely done.
and they're on my table.
Yeah.
And we're inducting 3 more at our Christmas party. And then there's 4 in the pipeline for the first semester next year. And last Sunday, we had our first fundraising in 3 years. I thought, okay, 120 people maybe, but we were able to sell 270 tickets in 2 weeks.
Nice.
I prepared the
Nice.
fundraising in 2 weeks. And from the attendees on the fundraising, there's 10 people who approached me and told me that they are interested to join Rotary. And this is from different fields of profession and from different countries like Jamaica and Africa, UK, Germany. So what attracted members is transparency. Okay, everything I do, because I represent Rotary, it has to be with honesty and trust. So I put on Facebook everything that I do in my normal life and everything that our club does. And when they see what we're doing in reality, that's when they call me and ask, how can I join Rotary? So that's when I ask, and I send a membership application form, and I created a pamphlet, and then I welcome them and, put them into action right away, so that
Very
there's
nice.
no rush for them to join us. They have to be there and see us in action first, so that they have a feel of, is this the right club for me?
Uh-huh.
We even attracted a Lions. That Lions Club has been poaching for 8 years.
Yes.
And
Poaching. I didn't cover that. Poaching is always
And we
appropriate.
got her. And so we are now partnership with a big outreach foundation. And on our last Thanksgiving, we feed 1,200 people. And for the first time, we're partnering for Christmas dinner to feed 4,000 people.
Nice. Well done.
And the money that we raise at our fundraising will provide for that.
Nice. Wow. I think the district is looking for a membership director if you're interested.
So Victoria is from Edmonton Southeast.
Very
Yeah,
good.
my name, thank you, Mark, for your great presentation. And I love
you.
what you said about the sign on your lawn and people thinking that's where that weirdo lives. And I'll tell you something that gives me great comfort is the thought that everybody is somebody's weirdo.
Thank you. That's very nice.
So I was just distracted a bit during your presentation. Did you talk about breakout rooms in Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, because our club, we're from the Egg Passport. There's a few of us here from the YEG Passport Rotary Club. And during COVID, we made a lot of use of the breakout groups, sharing in pairs, which can make it a bit easier to share in the larger group and build trust. And we had some friends join us as well from other Rotary clubs. So I just wanted to say how important that was. And when you create a space where you're more free to talk about your values, that is the attraction. Now we're just getting it together and we're getting our membership together. But at our first meeting, when we met, a young woman from Zambia said, we asked, why are you here and what do you care about? And she said, I want to share my blessings. So that opened the space
Nice.
to other ideas about why people are there and what they care about. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for your presentation, Mark. My name is Donna Greenway. I'm the Northwest Spirit Rotary Club, and we're a passport club, meet virtually. What are your tips on when you're in that virtual world
Mhm.
that you're not all talking over each other or you can't get a word in edgewise? Like, how do you run that aspect of a meeting?
I would suggest leveraging the platform as much as possible and having somebody designated who is running the meeting. Because if you're admin for the meeting, you can mute everybody. And then if somebody wants to speak, they can put their hand up or go, I want to say something. So, just leverage the technology. And if somebody has come off of mute and you can hear them making their breakfast in the background, you can mute them again. Just so don't be afraid to just take control and boot people out. Anybody else? Sir.
Just know that admin to the meetings. Yeah.
One of the things that's important to designate somebody, particularly if you've got a large group of people coming, is to have somebody be the admin and a phone number or an email so they can watch their email in case there's technical difficulties. Because if you're the chair of the meeting, you're not paying attention to your email.
Yeah.
You're just speaking to the camera.
Yeah.
And somebody else is saying, I can't get in, I can't get in, I can't get in. Let somebody else do that.
Yeah.
It's and it makes the meeting, it provides an opportunity to make the meeting go a little bit smoother. But that's one
Nice.
thing we've learned. Thank you.
Great point. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, please come up so that they can hear.
Thank you. One other suggestion that our district governor just made is for passport clubs, if you're meeting online, having a meeting charter where you decide in advance, everybody agrees what the rules are going to be for engagement on who speaks when, and if you have this talking stick or whatever it is, then that often helps too, because then you can revisit the charter as the meeting progresses and everybody can buy in if they've had a hand in creating it.
Great suggestion. Thank you for that. And $5 for that phone. Sergeant, where's our sergeant?
$40 fine for the phone going off. I have a question, Mark, before you step away, and an idea. One of the things that you could use Zoom for, our club is doing it next week. If you have a relationship with a Rotary Club or Rotary Club on the other side of the world, if you're doing an international project with, join their meeting, and they join your meeting. We have a member in our club from Nepal. And this Tuesday morning, we're going to meet with the Nepal Rotary Club. Fascinating. They're going to tell us what they do, who their members are, what the projects are that they're working on. And then in January, they're going to join our meeting. And they're going to hear about us and what we do. So the opportunity for the internationalization of Rotary Clubs meeting through Zoom is just another thing that is within the realm of possibility. So yeah, that's another great way to use Zoom to your best advantage.
It's almost as if Rotary is international. Mr. Campbell, I believe, is at the microphone.
From the great state of Ohio. Two things I'd like to bring up that I think our club did, particularly when we were all on the Zoom, is we reconnected with some of our international exchange students that we had in. And we brought them in as guest speakers. And it was basically, hi, how you doing? What's going on in your life? So we had Brazil, Ecuador, European kids come in, and that added. And, you can even do that now. You don't have to have a special occasion. And the second thing is the club publicized and ran a fireside chat. Now that's the fireside chat thing is probably old cliche, but we actually had a fireplace. And we went out, Rotarians were asked to bring in some prospective members, and it was advertised Facebook and even in the print media. And we actually had a good evening and we had 12 people out. And it looks like, we'll try and get 17% of those, that's our number, I guess, to join. So proactively going after membership. And I think, Mark, that's I think the most important part of your presentation from me is the question, do you have a membership chair? That is the most important question, because if you don't build the membership cat in your club, it will not happen. Right? So I think that for me is the most important point. You got to build a cat. You got to have somebody if responsible.
Nice. Thanks, Doug.
Any final comments, questions? Well, great. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Great job. Thank you.